Hi, and welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy, and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, June 30th, 2023. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I am hosting a year-long make-along on Instagram called the Make 9 2023 Mal, and that's for you to join in the Make 9 challenge, where you can choose 9 projects that you would like to work on this year, make a grid of those projects, and then anytime that you post a picture showing your works in progress or a finished object from your board, you can include the hashtag to include yourself in the drawing to win a prize, which I draw periodically throughout the year. I was sent a gift to give away. Just yesterday I received it in the mail, I believe, or the day before. Anyway, last couple days, from Nicole. And Nicole is the lady that I had made those little baby socks for that I showed off on my last episode. And she sent both a wonderful goodie bag for me as well as this set of yarn to give away. So I wanted to gift it to one of the participants in the Make 9 2023 Mal. So these yarns, she wasn't exactly sure of the content of the fiber, but believes that they are both a sock appropriate yarn. So they're both fingering weight, but we're not exactly sure of the content of the yarn. But this larger skein is dyed by Yarn Cafe Creations. And it's just got these beautiful colors of a kind of a cherry raspberry type red color, some turquoise and deep brown. Oh, there's even a little bit of green in there. So that's super pretty. And then the little mini that she also sent along is by Maker's Haven when she dyed yarn, and it's got a sparkle base in this beautiful tealy color, and those look super cute together. So the winner of this set is on Instagram at Nikki Ulyat. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but that's my best attempt at your last name. Congratulations to you, Nikki. If you would please get in contact with me either through my email address, which is linked below, or through direct message on Instagram, you can just let me know your full name and mailing address, and I'll be happy to get this gift off in the mail to you. And again, thank you, Nicole, for gifting this to give away. I wanted to give away another gift as well, and this one was gifted to me by Danielle of Midwest Stitches. It is by Hood Fibers, and again, this is another mystery yarn. This one, she again thought that it was a sock yarn, but wasn't 100% sure, but it's just this beautiful, I love the colors in this one with the rusty orange and brown and purple. So pretty. Again, this is a fingering weight. And I wanted to include a little mini to go with this one as well. Now I do know what this one is. This is Knit Picks Stroll Tweed and the Lavender Fields Heather colorway. So that one I definitely know is appropriate for socks, but the other one we're not 100% sure on. So if you do decide to make socks with this yarn, not 100% sure if they'll be hardy enough for sock wearing or not. But anyway, the winner of this set is Kim at Kim the Crafty Nomad. So congratulations to you as well, Kim. Please also get in contact with me and let me know your full name and mailing address as well. Thank you so much for those of you who have been continuing to participate in that make-along, and please don't hesitate to continue to do so throughout the year. You can join in at any time, and as I always say, you do not have to finish anything, so you can just go ahead and participate at any time, and it'd be super great to see the things that you would hope to work on throughout the year. I have a few finished objects to share with you all, 2 of which I am wearing. So the first one you saw on my last episode, this is the Lowrider jumper, a design by Iron Lamb. And I was maybe up in this area last time I recorded an episode. It is crocheted from the top down. And I was using up some leftovers of yarn. I only had 2 cakes of this tan colored yarn that I had picked up at my local thrift store. And it is Lion brand Coboo in the beige colorway. And that yarn is 50% cotton and 50% rayon from Bamboo. And then the other yarn that I used is here in the neckline, you can see it. That is Lion brand Comfy Cotton Blend in the Chai Latte colorway. That's 50% cotton, 50% polyester. They're both a DK weight. And last time I showed 2 other yarns that I was thinking of using. They're actually in this headband, but I decided not to use them in this garment. So I was really unsure of how this garment was going to play out in the end. I was just kind of gonna play it by ear as I went along, and that's exactly what I did. So I worked through the yoke, split for the sleeves, and knit a few rows past the underarm and realized that my tan beige color was quickly running out, and I knew it wasn't going to last. I figured it wasn't going to last for the entirety of the garment. I figured I was going to have to use some other yarns. So I wanted to use this color next because I thought that I liked the way that it blended with the tan color best. So I decided to start striping it in. So every other row, I worked 1 row of the Chai Latte color. And I did that for a total of 10 rows or rounds. It was crocheted in the round using the granny stitch. And then after that ran out, I had originally thought that I was going to add in some granny squares. And so that's why I had made this strip of granny squares. So I was planning on putting this strip of granny squares around the waistline of this garment because I just thought it would be kind of a fun addition. But I decided I just didn't like the look of it in the end. So I decided to just continue with the Chai Latte. And I'm gonna just kind of stand up a little bit here so you can see how it turned out. So I did, I'm not sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more rounds of the plain granny stitch in the Chai Latte before I did the ribbing. As you can see, it's quite cropped, so it comes basically to my natural waist. And yeah, I just decided that I only wanted to use these 2 colors because I just really liked how they looked. I was really playing quite a bit of yarn chicken though because I didn't know how far I could get with that Chai Latte. I didn't have a ton of it. I only had 1 cake of it. It was a pretty big cake, but I only had the 1 cake. I used the recommended hook, which was a G 4mm hook for the crocheted part of this garment. And then I made several modifications. The first modification, I made a medium size, but I first split for the sleeves according to the pattern, according to the medium size instructions. And it turned out too tight under the underarms. So I ripped that back and crocheted 1 extra round before I split for the sleeves again. And that really helped it to fit more comfortably under the arms here. I usually like my garments to fit pretty close to the underarm. I don't like there to be a large gap, but the way it was originally, it was just a little too tight under the underarms. So I did add 1 extra round. And then as you can see, I also changed the ribbing. So I was inspired to make this top after hearing about it on the It Is a Sarah podcast. She had first mentioned this design was going to be coming out a few months ago, and I was really interested in making it after hearing about it on her podcast. And she also made this garment and made the modification of adding knitted ribbing to the garment instead of crocheted ribbing as is in the original pattern. So I did the same. I used US 3.25mm needles, and I picked up stitches all around the neckline I ended up picking up a total of 104 stitches and did 2x2 ribbing for 8 rounds. I looked at Sarah's notes that she had on her Ravelry page to get an idea of how she made hers. I didn't pick up the exact number of stitches, I don't think, as she did, but I did do 8 rounds of 2x2 ribbing like she did. And then same for the sleeves. I ended up picking up 52 stitches on the sleeves, and again just did 8 rounds of 2x2 ribbing. For the hem, I did a few more. How many do I did 12 rounds on the bottom hemline. And like I said, I didn't have a ton of that chai latte left, so I ended up doing the neckline and the sleeve ribbing before I finished the garment, and then just used up as much as I could with the yarn that I had left over to make it as long as possible, because as you saw, it's not terribly long, but it works really great over dresses and so forth. Let's see, are there any other changes I made? I think that's it. I think I covered everything. I feel like there's more that I'm leaving out, but yeah, I really loved making this. It was such a joy, and I love the mixture of knitting and crocheting. I don't believe I'm pretty sure I don't have another garment that has both knitting and crocheting in it, so I think that's great. Makes me very happy to combine both crafts. I'll go ahead and stand up so you can see it just a little bit better. Just wearing it over a dress, as you can see, and I think it works really well. I do have some high-waisted pants that I can wear it with as well, so I may do that. I'm really happy with it though. I think it turned out cute, and I was so happy to be able to use up some of my yarn that I have had on hand for a while, and didn't really know what I was going to do with it. I originally had thought that I was going to make the rainbow ripple blanket pattern with this yarn, and actually using all of this yarn together, but I don't know, I just changed my mind and decided to use it for this garment instead. Okay, so like I said, I had crocheted these granny squares. In the original pattern, the original pattern has long sleeves. So that's another modification I didn't mention. I didn't add any length to the sleeves. It just picked up the ribbing and knit 8 rounds. For the ribbing, I just didn't have any more yarn, so I didn't have another option to lengthen it unless I wanted to add in a different color yarn, and I just had decided I only wanted to use these 2 colors. Anyway, in the original pattern, the sleeves are long, and she has a couple of options to do just a plain sleeve with ribbing, I think, at the cuff, or to have more of a flared sleeve where you add in granny squares around the edging of the sleeve. And so that's where I had gotten the idea to add in some granny squares originally. And so, like I said, I had thought about putting the strip of granny squares around the waistline, and I was also thinking about adding granny squares around the sleeve before. I was still planning on doing short sleeves, but just adding a band of granny squares around the sleeves as well, but decided I really didn't like the way that that looked. But I had already made all these granny squares, and I had just this long strip, so I'll take this off. I decided to make it into a headband, and so I have a total of 9, I think. 3, 6, 9 granny squares, and then I just they're just 2 round granny squares. I followed the instructions in the Lowrider jumper pattern no, that's not true. No, I didn't, because she does bigger squares in her pattern. Anyway, they're just 2 round granny squares, and I whip stitched them together. And then on the ends here, I just did some single crochet stitches and did some decreases to make kind of a point here, and then just crocheted a long chain so I can tie a bow. And I just thought that was really fun to be able to make a headband, which also reminded me of Sarah from It Is a Sarah podcast, because she always wears a headband and loves granny squares. So anyway, I just thought that was a fun way to use up those granny squares, since I had already made a strip of them and wanted to make good use of that little thing I had already made but didn't know what to do with it. So I think it's cute, and I'll see if I wear it a lot. I'm not sure. I don't usually wear headbands, but it's kind of fun. So I think I like it, and I'll probably wear it once in a while. It will go with a lot of my summer tops because I think it looks nice with this top, even though actually the yarns aren't matching. Oh, I'm sorry. The two yarns in the headband are Lion Brand Coboo in the peach colorway, and then also again Lion Brand Comfy Cotton Blend, but in the Driftwood colorway. So they share the same bases, but in two different colorways. Oh, and then I've also got two more summer tops that are made with this peach yarn. One that's a solid color in this peach, and then another one that has some stripes of this peach color. So I think I could probably wear it with either of those tops as well. Okay, any more on that? I don't think so. So the garment I started on June 18th and finished it on June 27th, and then the headband I had kind of started it on June 24th and finished it on June 27th as well. So I'm super happy with those two pieces, and yeah, very, very excited to add another garment to my summer wardrobe because I, don't have a ton of summer garments. I think this is now my fourth, if I remember right. So anyway, it's nice to have another garment. I also was able to finish a few more dishcloths. So last time I recorded an episode, I had done a dishcloth exactly like one of these, but now I was able to make 3 more. So I have a total of 4 dishcloths in this yarn, which was also gifted to me by Danielle of Midwest Stitches. The pattern that I use is the Classic Easy Knit Dishcloth, a free pattern by Carolyn Stanton, also known as Caroselle Design. And the yarn that I have used is Premier Yarns in Rosy Cheeks. It's in the Home Cotton line, which is 85% recycled cotton and 15% polyester. I modified the pattern on this one by using smaller needles. I only use US 6 4mm needles, and I only increase my stitches to 52 before I decrease. So like I said, I was able to make a total of 4 using this yarn. I do have a little bit of that yarn left over, but not quite enough to make a full dishcloth. And so I have started another one. It's being held in this project bag that I won in a giveaway a long time ago, and it is by Allison Barnes Collection. And I decided to use up the rest of that yarn to make another dishcloth by striping it with some blue. This is a mystery cotton yarn that I don't know any details on it. But anyway, it's just this kind of a country blue color that works really well with the other yarn that I have here. So I'm just striping every 2 rounds. I switch colors, and that makes it really fun. Again, I'm using US 6 4mm needles, and I'm doing the decreases now. So that is just really fun to have on the go. It's a great, especially a great summer project to have on the go, using up the cotton yarn that I have in my stash. Super simple and obviously easy to memorize that pattern, and it's great to have lots of dishcloths on hand to give as gifts as well. My next work in progress is being held in this project bag that I made myself. And this is a shawl that my cousin and I are both crocheting. It is the Venation Shawl, which is a beautiful pattern by Ambah O'Brien. My cousin Allie dyed up a fade set using 10 20-gram minis, and so we decided to make this shawl together. She dyed a set for herself and then gifted me a set. So this is such a beautiful pattern, and I'm really enjoying it. I haven't done a ton of work on it since I last recorded, but I've added a little bit of length to it. So it started here at this point, and it increased to here, and then now I've just started doing a decrease section, which I was surprised by because I'm only on the 4th color, And there's a total of 10 colors going into this. So I assumed I would get to the 5th color before I would start decreasing, but the section I just started says it's a decrease. Well, it is a decrease section already. So anyway, so last time I recorded, I was right here where this cute donut progress keeper is marking. That progress keeper was also made by my cousin Allie. And like I said, I'm on the 4th color now, so you can see how the fade is going, and then it's going to eventually, it's going to quickly change to more mauvey pink colors and then fade into more of a burgundy color at the end. So it is really an enjoyable pattern though. I'm really enjoying it a lot. It's so pretty, isn't it? So I'm not quite yet to the halfway point, but it's coming along. I think it's very pretty. This other marker is a row counter that I'm using to keep track of which row I'm on, and that is by Twill and Print. I think it's so pretty. I love purples so much, so that makes me so happy. These colors are great. I feel like there's something I'm missing on this one too. Oh, I'm using the recommended needles for this, which are US, I don't remember, US 5 3.75 millimeter needles. I started this one on May 26th, so it's kind of going slowly, I guess, compared to some things, but it's fun just to have it as a on-the-go project. I mean, I don't take it on the go. What I mean is a slow-growing project that kind of can just take its time is kind of, I guess, what I want to say. Okay, my next work in progress is another crochet project. My friend Tina came over last week. Yeah, it must have been last week. And she had gotten a lot of yarn from a friend of hers that was destashing a ton of yarn. And she brought it over here to my house when she came to visit and kind of laid it all out and looked at it and wanted some advice on what colors to put together to make blankets or things like that. And she also wanted me to show her how to make the Rainbow Ripple baby blanket that I showed off a couple of episodes ago, which is, well, we both started one. Tina started one and I started one together. And so this is yarn that she was gifted by her friend. And yeah, so we laid out the colors and she started making one in purples and I'm making this one in blues and greens. So this is a free pattern by Celeste Young. And the color or the yarn that we have here is all Red Heart Super Saver yarn. The 3 colors I have are light blue, mint, and Windsor blue. I have no idea if these colorways are still available through Red Heart or not. I haven't shopped Red Heart yarn in a long time, but this is worsted weight 100% acrylic yarn. I love this pattern so much. It's such a joy to make. So this is now my 2nd one that I've made, and I already have a 3rd one planned to make in the future, but I can see myself making this pattern over and over again. So you start at the very center here, and it's all made using double crochet stitches, US terms. And once you get past the first 5 rounds or so, it becomes very, very memorizable. You do the same, basically the same pattern. It is a 3-round repeat, but the only thing that changes is the stitches that you do at the peaks of these points here. Every 3rd round you do a different stitch. So the way that I have set mine up is that I am changing my color to the mint green color every time I do one of those different rounds. So I am just going to try to follow this pattern where I'm doing the light blue for 2 rounds, then the mint green, and then the Windsor blue for 2 rounds, and then the mint. and we'll see how far I get. I only have one skein of the mint green, and then I have 2 skeins of the other 2 blue colors. So we'll just see how big it gets me. I think I'll be able to make it a pretty good size though. I just love this pattern so much. We started making it using, both of us started using an H 5mm hook, but it was turning out to be quite a stiff fabric, so I decided to go up to a 6mm hook instead, which is a J. And I like the fabric for that better. It's more drapey and not so stiff. So that's a super fun project and very, very easy, very relaxing to work on that project. Okay, my last work in progress is a brand new project, and it is one that I'm not really sure about. I'm kind of, well, let me just explain. So I first was inspired to make a garment like what I'm making after watching a new to me podcaster. I think it's pronounced Cheen. I think it's Cheen. Cheen Knits, I believe it's called, and I believe that the lady that hosts it is named Cheen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe it's Chen, but I think it's Cheen. Anyway, she was wearing I think I've watched 3 of her episodes, so maybe if you wanted to go see what I'm referring to, you'd go back 3 episodes, maybe 4, but I think 3. Anyway, she was wearing a tank top that she had knitted in, I think it was like a cream color and a blue color. And she had modified the tank top that she had made because she only had a couple of skeins of yarn that she wanted to use up. It's kind of a long story, but anyway, she had made a tank top. I can't remember what the name of it was, but anyway, it was a striped tank top. And the way that she had to manage her yarn was that she made the front piece opposite to the back piece so that the stripes were opposite. So maybe the front piece was cream with blue stripes, like smaller blue stripes, and then the back of the shirt was blue with smaller cream stripes. And then she could reverse it and wear it either way. And I thought that was such a cool idea. But I didn't want to make that pattern. I wanted to make my pattern a little bit differently, and I wanted to do different colors. But anyway, that was just the first inspiration I had about this idea for a summer top. So what I wanted was just not a tank top, but I wanted a shirt that had maybe like a little cap sleeve, something really, really simple in shaping, and that I could stripe with black and cream. And I wanted it to be fingering weight because I wanted it to be really thin, a thin drapey material. And yeah, so that's kind of where I started. So I decided to order some Knit Picks Comfy Fingering Weight yarn, which I have knit a garment out of before and really enjoy. It is a fingering weight 75% Pima cotton and 25% acrylic, and I got the black color and the ivory color. And I started making a swatch, and I've kind of played around with the width of my stripes to kind of play around with what I wanted to do, and I played around with seeing, the one part of it here with black as the main color and then with ivory as the main color. And I wanted to kind of get an idea of what needle size or what gauge I liked best. So I started off with US 3, let's see. I started off with US 3 3.25 millimeter needles, and I got a gauge of 24 stitches per 4 inches, but I really didn't like the fabric because it was a little bit too see-through for my taste. It was just a little bit too gappy. I'd like to be able to wear this garment just right on skin so that I don't have to wear a tank top underneath it if possible. We'll see how it turns out. But anyway, I went down to a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and I like the fabric that I got better for that. I got a gauge of 27 stitches to 4 inches with a US 1. and I like that better. So then what I did was I went on to Ravelry, and I did a search for the gauge that I got for, you can do a search on Ravelry for the gauge of a garment. And anyway, after a lot of searching, I ended up finding a free pattern that's called the Color Splash Tee by Mary Papillon, I think is maybe how you say her name. And it is pretty much what I was looking for. Here is a picture of it. Now she does not claim to be a garment designer. This is just a garment that she made for herself and then published the pattern that she had for herself. So it's only got one size that she says could fit between extra small to medium, I guess. So I just happen to be her same size, and I think it will work for me. So it's not a pattern that is probably usable for a lot of people, but it just so happened that it would work for me. So anyway, the way that this is knit is from top down. And after you get past the underarms, then you can join in the round. But I'm going to be modifying that since I want my front and back pieces to not match. I want them to be opposite of each other. I am going to make my pieces flat and then seam them together in the end. And then I'm going to be modifying my stripes to be more like my swatch here, where I'm going to have wide stripes and then thinner stripes. And yeah, I'm hoping it will work out. It's kind of a trial and error, I feel like. But I have started it. It's at an awkward stage right now to really show you much of what's going on here. I'm holding it in this beautiful bag by Tanny Casey. But I am in the middle of some short row shaping right now, and so it's difficult to show you. Also, I'm going to be modifying it in that I'm just going to be making two front pieces. In her pattern, she made her fronts and back pieces different. She has her back a bit higher than her front piece, but I'm going to have both of mine be front pieces so that my garment is reversible, so I can wear it with the main color of the ivory on the front if I want to, or I can wear it with the black as the main color on the front if I want to. So I think that'll be really fun. But anyway, I'm not sure how to share this very easily, but it is starting here with this is the shoulders and the front neck piece. So you can maybe kind of get an idea of how it's coming along. But I am just doing, like I said, some short row shaping using German short rows at the moment. So it's kind of at an awkward stage. But I'm really loving how the fabric is coming along. I have in the past had a tendency to have issues with rowing out, meaning that usually my purl rows are a bit looser than my knit rows. And so in the past at times I have gone down a needle size for my purl stitches, but I have gotten better at that. It's not perfect, and I think cotton yarn is a little bit harder to disguise the mistakes. I think cotton yarn can kind of show off mistakes a little more easily than wool can. So I can see some inconsistencies in my rows a little bit, but I'm just gonna keep going with it. I'm not sure if yeah, you can see that there's some inconsistency there with my gauge, my tension. But I'm just doing the best to try to keep my purl stitches as tight as possible, and hopefully it won't be too terrible. So that's how that one's coming along. Not much to share with that one yet, but I'm excited to see how it comes along. I'm hoping that it will be a success, but I'm generally not a fan of knitting garments in pieces because you can't really try them on very easily to see how they're fitting. But I'm just planning on holding this up to some other garments that I like the fit of and making sure that it's looking about the same size. So hopefully the color will work out, or I mean the fit will work out really well. Lastly, I want to share with you my beautiful bag that I was sent. Like I said, Nicole had sent a prize to give away, and then she sent this beautiful bag full of goodies for me. So that was so sweet of you, Nicole. So this beautiful project bag has all these little teacups and teapots and cakes on it. So sweet. Oh, I didn't even notice this. It has a little teapot charm on the zipper hole. And this bag is made by Stitchin' You Bags. And it has a really cute coral colored flowery print on the inside. And Nicole got me some more Knit Picks Felice yarn. If you've been watching, you would know that I have, for the whole year, I have planned out to make a pair of Knit Picks Felice socks, one per month. So I'm going to be casting on my new socks tomorrow for July. But anyway, I only have yarn for January through November. So she picked me up this yarn because she thought these colors looked great for Christmas type colors, so that I have a pair of Knit Picks Felice socks to knit in the month of December. So I thought that was super sweet of her. So very sweet. I was so thoughtful. This is in the Yipes Stripes colorway, and the colors are really great for Christmas. So I just love that so much. So these are fingering weight 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And then she sent me some Maker's Haven sock sets. They are little sock kits, they're called. This one, now I'm not exactly sure about this one. There was an extra label in the package, so I think that this was the one that went with this yarn, but I could be wrong. Anyway, this one is called Every Song Ends, but is that any reason not to enjoy the music? Must be from something, but I don't know what that's from. Anyway, it's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend, and it's a total of 70 grams. So the larger skein is a 50 gram, and then the smaller mini is a 20 gram. And those colors are right up my alley. I just love them so much. And the other label says it's One Tree Hill April Club, but I don't think I have that. I think that was just an extra label that she included, maybe accidentally. This one is also super pretty. I love the colors in this one. It's also a One Tree Hill May Club, and this is on a 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% sparkle base. And again, it's the same idea with the 50 gram and 20 gram. They're so pretty. And then she included 2 skeins of yarn that are both dyed by Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits, but she doesn't know any more about these, but they're both so beautiful and I love them so much. These are both fingering weight, I'm sure, but other than that, she wasn't sure. I think she said again that she thinks they're sock appropriate blends, but she wasn't 100% sure. But I just love them so much. And that was so, so very kind of you, Nicole. Thank you so much for all these lovely goodies. I just am so grateful for your generosity to me. Thank you so much. So that is all that I have to share with you all today. I hope that you enjoyed watching this episode, and I hope you all have a great couple of weeks until I record again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.